Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. In the last episode, we really didn't get anywhere with Bowser because he got a stomachache, and basically, he had to get the stomachache fixed by the Mario Brothers, who had to fight a boss, a giant worm in Bowser's stomach. But because of that, we've actually unlocked the Sliding Punch, which, as you can see, very useful for initiating on enemies. And also, in case you didn't notice, we got a ton of money from those two treasure chests. Really glad that's happened too, because very soon we're going to need quite a bit of coins to get an upgrade for Bowser's equipment, so it's pretty nice that we've been able to do that. I'm just sort of wandering around here making sure there's nothing hidden, because now that we have the Slime Punch, we can destroy rocks that we couldn't before, including those giant pillars of stone that we had problems with earlier. We can now destroy those really easily. I happen to get by that guy pretty nicely, that's what I was getting. I'm going to try to get those, I want to try to see those coins in here though. I'm trying to get as much money as possible. Whatever. And if you get a first strike with the flame, I'm fine with that. I did show that off before, but there's another example, I guess, of a first strike with fire. It doesn't really do that. I mean, it's just, another normal attack that hits all the enemies. I don't think there's really that much difference between a fire attack and a punch attack, besides, just the relative, I guess, ways of doing, the trees are weak to fire, so a first strike of fire will be more important, and if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, we're just gonna head back up here. We're gonna head back up to where we found those 3 minions where we have the Banzai Bill cannon, because now we have a Banzai Bill. So let's go ahead and save before we get there. And, well, let's see if we can fire a Banzai's Bill on Bowser's Castle and see what that accomplishes. That's been our goal for the past, 3 episodes. So, it finally comes to fruition now. Kind of a bit of a long area for Bowser if you think about it. It's taking us quite a while to get out of this woods. But, we'll actually be doing that in this episode. We're finally going to get out of the woods, which is about time. But first, we have to fire a giant bullet at the cannon. Or, at the cannon? No, we have to fire a giant bullet out of the cannon at Bowser's Castle. Also, I love how the man's like, Bowser's completely incompetent, and Bowser's like, yo, I'm not incompetent, I found the Banzai Bill, you losers. And, yeah, so Bowser, you show them. You show those silly little minions. And just like he says, they seem to be all useless. They sort of are the, this is like the bumbling trio. You come across them many times in the game, and they're just sort of like the useless minion trio. They don't really end up accomplishing that much. They're just sort of like there. Anyway, so we light the fuse with our own breath, which is pretty badass. And we're going to fire a Banzai Bill at Bowser's Castle. That's right, take that, we're fighting back. We're going to take you down. Of course, it's never going to be that easy, though. Because, well, trouble, Lord Midbus. Indeed. As you can see, by the way, okay, this is what I don't understand. Bowser captured Fawful captured all of Bowser's minions, and he sent some of them in cages that you can use to get special attacks, and then he hypnotized the rest of them and made them his minions. He brainwashed them. So, why did he brainwash some and lock others in cages, and vice versa? Maybe there's just like a select group of minions that are immune to brainwashing. I don't know. This whole brainwashing thing seems to happen a lot to Bowser's minions, though. Just think of Super Paper Mario. But anyway, apparently Fawful's equipped the castle to fly. Flying castle. That's a bit weird. But they used the flight to be able to dodge the Banzai Bill. Our attack was not very effective, and now they're gonna fight back by basically bringing the castle to us. Well, I mean, we want to go to Bowser's Castle. I suppose that's probably a good thing. Except, wait, isn't it above us? We're in the shadow. Wait, no, don't put the castle on us. That's not fair. Yep, that's right. They fight back by dropping a castle on Bowser. These guys are serious. We launch a Banzai Bill at them. They launch a castle at us. Like, holy crap! Talk about power play. But anyway, this is going to be the first case of something really cool that happened several times throughout the game. Bowser's going to be in mortal peril, in which case you go to Rump Command. And from here we get to revive Bowser. But after reviving Bowser, something really interesting is going to happen. You're going to see that first. But first we have to play a new minigame in order to save Bowser's life. And we're going to do these new kinds of Globin called Evo Globins. So the evolved form of Globin. They're actually smart and not just kind of crazy wacko faces. They kind of like, yeah, they're kind of like transcendent spirits. They have a lot more seriousness than the normal Globins do, the normal Emo Globins do. We don't need to save, we just saved recently enough. So what you need to do here, and I think you can lose this pretty easily. It's not like the other one where you just have a limited try and you'll just keep losing coins. You can actually lose, and I don't think you get game over, but it's going to send you back to the beginning. You have to start everything from the complete beginning here. So, you have 3 hearts. You can only take 3 hits from here. So what you need to do is you move left and right, and then you press A. It's basically like a shooter like Galactica. You have to hit red things of Mario, so you press A to shoot a red bullet from Mario to hit them, and then you have to shoot from Luigi on green things. So that being said, I mean, you have to also adjust the proper so that you have to aim properly, because obviously bullets fired from Mario are more to the right, bullets fired from Luigi are more to the left. Blue ones you hit with both of them. So what our goal is, we need to fill up the bar by basically defeating all these different things. If you hit something with the wrong bro, by the way, so say you hit a red one with Luigi, instead of being defeated, it's actually going to go over to you, like that right there. It's going to go super fast to you, and that's where you actually have the possibility of being hit. And if you take 3 hits, you lose. So that's basically how this minigame works. It's actually pretty fun, I think. I do like doing this whole little thing. Too bad you don't get to do it that often. But basically, we fire these things where basically these are like Bowser's adrenaline or something like that. I don't know. I don't think this is how adrenaline really works. But as you can see, it's not really that hard yet. I actually almost have it completely full. And once you do, his energy is gonna spark. His energy is gonna spark. And then we have to fight this little sort of boss, I guess. There's gonna be a bunch of them. They're gonna shoot projectiles at you occasionally, but mostly you just want to just rapidly fire at it. For the most part, you won't have any trouble beating it. Just keep firing at it with both bros. Just rapidly press both buttons at the same time. It'll spike his energy, and Bowser's gonna come back to life or something like that. I don't think this is how adrenaline works, especially for what the bit of an odd side effect here, because that you look a little big, Bowser. Those legs. Have you been working out? Well, no. What actually happens is whenever you use Rub Command to save Bowser, Bowser's going to turn gigantic, and you're going to have a giant boss fight, where basically you fight whatever crushed you, pretty much. So in this case, we're actually have a fight with giant Bowser versus his own castle, which is pretty badass, if I do say so myself. Pretty cool thing about this game, the whole giant Bowser fights. I always found these to be pretty awesome, that they included this whole sort of different sort of style of combat in the game. And these are sort of these fights that you have. These are maybe my favorite fights in the game, because they're pretty cool. They're a completely different style from before. What is going to happen here is we're going to actually have to hold the DS vertically. So we're going to do it like that. I'm going to quickly cut it this way. Actually, did some editing magic to let you see how it is horizontally. So you have to turn your computer sideways or something like that, or tilt your head. So basically, we're now the DS is going to be completely horizontal, as you can see. So completely horizontal, which is pretty cool, because you're normally holding the DS, the 2 screens vertically on top of each other, and this time you actually tilt it and like kind of hold it like a book. And that's because all of Bowser's controls are going to use the touchscreen for the most part. Well, they're going to use the touchscreen and the mic. That's actually where the microphone does come into play. So you have 2 basic attacks. We're going to go through the tutorial and show them. To do punches, you slide the stylus across the screen like that. So that's how you do punches. And then in order to do fire, which we'll see in a little bit, you have to blow into the mic for as long as possible to get an excellent on that. So that's how that works. In fact, we're going to see a demonstration of the fire right now. So really cool fights. And also the other thing is you have a health. The other things you need to know is you have a health bar down there, and then you also see the enemy boss's health bar on the side as well. So you actually know the enemy's health bar for once as well. So it's literally just like a giant fight between the 2 of you for whoever can lower the other person's health bar first through attacks. That being said, you can get items to heal you. We're not actually end up getting any in this fight currently, but you can get items to heal you, but they're not very common. So really, it's a battle of attrition. Either you go down or the enemy goes down. It's gonna be a matter of keeping yourself alive while dealing efficient damage to the enemy in order to destroy him. And obviously, you can still get they still have the hierarchy of okay, good, great, excellent sort of attacks. The higher your ranking, if you get excellent attacks, you're gonna do more damage to the enemy than you can do with great attacks. So anyway, you have a punch defense by sliding your stylus just like a punch. You can punch enemies that are trying to go. It's pretty simple. And then the fire defense in this case is you actually just tap where you want to shoot fireballs, and he'll aim in that direction. If you miss too many times, though, your fireballs are going to get small, and they're not going to be able to do damage. And that's when you're easily going to take hits. So make sure every one of your shots is aimed perfectly when you're using Bowser. Anyway, so that's it for the tutorial. Now we're going to have to fight the castle itself, which is pretty badass. So, first giant Bowser fight. It's time to start. Obviously, the Bowser's castle is not going to go down one hit, so we're in here for the long haul. Kind of just such a cool fight, I find. I like the music of these fights too. It's just kind of epic, foreboding sort of stuff. You can see there is an item slot over there, so you can get mushrooms at some point. The only part of the game where he does actually eat mushrooms, but we won't get any here. So we really only have the health that we have in order to defeat him, or I guess her. Midbus is Midbus a guy or a girl? I'm not really even sure of that. I completely forget to slide the thing there, by the way. I just mistimed my slide there. So I did take damage. Whoops. but that's not that big of a deal. As you can see, this one's kind of hard to lose. It's sort of the tutorial one anyway. Just keep punching at him, and eventually you'll take the damage, and you'll win the fight. It's just, like I said, it's a battle of attrition. You need to get their health will reach 0 before yours does. There's no sort of healing or anything like that for the most part. Anyway, when Bowser's Castle releases Spinies, make sure you use your fire. If you try to go close, you'll take damage from that, actually. So, the punch does more damage, I think, overall. So use punches when you can. If the Spinies are there, though, use fire, because else won't be able to do anything. Anyway, make sure you defeat all the Shy Guys. If they manage to get a shot at you, it will do damage, so make sure you do that. And obviously, the other attack is there's only 2 attacks really. Either well, there's technically 3 if you count the Spinies, but there's either the Spinies, the castle will obviously move and try to hit you, or they'll release a Shy Guy barrage at you. So those are the 3 things to worry about for Bowser's Castle. It's a pretty simple fight, very basic. The later ones are going to be a lot more complicated than this, and a lot more awesome than this, by the way. Also, I like the fact that whenever you hit someone, it also knocks them back quite a bit. So it's like you're fighting them across this giant distance. You keep moving back and forth. Although this is a very, very long clearing if you think about it. Like, how long is this clearing that we're fighting in? Gee, it just keeps going and going and going. But yeah, look, I love how all the enemies, all the minions abandon the castle when you hit them with a counter punch. I think that's always really hilarious to see all the little tiny enemies just pouring out of the castle as they're beating the shit out of Bowser's Castle. We're trying to save Bowser's Castle and we're literally punching it in the face. Okay, not like the face is up there, but we're punching the shit out of Bowser's own castle. Kinda sucks to be him, really. Anyway, Bowser's Castle defeated. All the enemies are trying to escape it. We have freed all the enemies. Well, they're supposed to be bad guys in this case anyway. There's a little patch on... I don't think buildings need bandages. Just saying. Anyway, and Bowser's like, hey, Midbus, have some fire. A little bit of vengeance for earlier. But, this little return to normal size, only then will I fight sort of thing, sort of hints at, there will be a fight between Bowser and Midbus soon enough. Soon enough, guys. It's coming. Anyway, that's our first fight. We'll get some experience for the fight as usual, so we actually get another level up from that. We also get a Star Candy. Now, I believe what Star Candies do, if I remember correctly, it gives you full HP and SP. So, very, very good item. I'm not sure if you always get that from Bowser's Castle or if it's a rare drop or something. I just got lucky. But Star Candies are very good to get, so make sure you do. Quickly grab a level up there. It's kind of interesting that you instead of using the A button, B buttons, you actually have to use the stylus that actually poke for your status upgrade because you're holding the DS in a different way. Kind of interesting. As you can see, it's obviously entirely status control because, well, good luck using buttons when you're holding the DS sideways. That's kind of a bit counterproductive to using buttons. Anyways, so once you're done with the fight, Bowser turns small again. Now, of course, the little gimmick for why we can't always be big and just defeat everything like that is you can only use it when Bowser's in peril. So Bowser is only going to be able to be big when he's in great peril, which is pretty cool, but it's something you're not going to see that often. There's only a few of those fights. But all of them are pretty epic, I think you guys can agree. So, well, that's it for that fight, and that's actually the end of Dimble Woods. So, we can't make him big again. He's a little upset that we can't make him big, but, probably a good thing. You shouldn't put yourself in mortal peril for no reason. Now that we've done that, we've actually exited Dimble Woods, and we're into a new area. Very, very short area of the game. I'm not sure if we come back here later just to do other stuff, or if it's just a really short area. But Bumpsy Plains. In fact, it's so short that we're going to get the entire area of Bumpsy Plains done in this episode, right here, right now, the next 5.5 minutes. So, nothing too hard. There's only one new enemy here, just these flower things. As you can imagine, still being plants, they're also weak to fire. So they have 2 attacks for the most part only. They can shoot seeds at you, like so. If they angle their head up in the air, they're gonna shoot them directly at you. If they just fire it normally, they're gonna fire it downwards. It's gonna bounce, and you have to use your shell defense in order to stop it. So that's how that works. As you can see, fire very critical hit on them. You can also inhale though, and for 2 reasons. 1, you get a bloody for them, new enemy. And 2, if you inhale, you can actually get them to lose their petals, and once they lose their petals, they can't attack anymore. However, at some point, a little sniffit, a little flutter sniffit? What the heck is that thing? It's like a flutter sniffit. That's just weird. But it'll come and revive it with the power of water. Very reminiscent, I think, of the Gardener's Shy Guy back in Super Mario RPG, actually. Reminds me a lot of him. Anyway, we actually, if you head over here, you can actually find another chalk road. There's nothing we can do over here, though. I'm just going to quickly show off this. This is a dead end. So, the only reason you want to go over here is to get the chalk road. While we're here, you guys, a lot of you left comments. There is actually a chalk road in Plaque Beach, But it is so out of the way and ridiculous to get that I don't know why you'd ever want to get this one. It's right next to a new one anyway, so I'm not even gonna need to cut the video. It's literally like 2 or 3 screens away from this one right here. So the point of this one, I'm not really sure of it. There's no point of this whole chalk road, but the way you get it, I'm gonna show off anyway. Just go to Plaque Beach and burn these trees over here. You actually have to burn the trees in order to get them. So no wonder I couldn't find it, because you have to actually burn something to get it. It's this tree right here that happens to be it. So it's right here. I don't really see. I mean, I guess it's a little closer than using the Cape exit, but I don't really see the point of using that one. It's not that far away from the exit. It just kind of seems a bit silly to put one there, especially because you have to backtrack from when you get fire in order to get it. Like, I imagine if it was, you know, in a tree where you got the fire, that makes sense. But a tree way back at the beginning in the area you get fire, like, why would you ever backtrack there and burn trees randomly? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the little seeds we can obviously crush just to get extra coins. Just like, you know, there's always an enemy like that in every area where you can just crush them and get coins. Now, if you're wondering what those enemies actually do, you'll learn once we have Mario and Luigi. We'll eventually really go to the overworld, and then there'll actually be real enemies for Mario and Luigi to fight. So, and you'll also be able to fight the big versions, but I don't recommend it because the big ones tend to be pretty hard for Mario and Luigi to fight. These smaller ones tend to be a bit more in Mario and Luigi's league, because Bowser does have pretty inflated HP and power stats, as you've seen. Like, his stats are pretty ridiculously high compared to Mario and Luigi's. I mean, it makes sense. He's a boss, you know. It kind of almost puts it makes things make sense actually in the way that, you know, when you're fighting Bowser, you know, even at the beginning of the game, he took several hits. He takes several more hits than Mario would to, you know, get killed. So his HP and power and defense almost sort of represent his HP and power defense in, you know, normal boss battles with Bowser. So pretty interesting that they do that. Anyway, travel on the raft over here. Just completely like finished my own sentence there and just continued going. But go over here. You get a safety ring. This will increase your HP by 20%. Now, we don't actually have a second item slot yet, but that's going to be coming really soon. It's a tough choice between you get 10% extra fire damage, or no, it's 20% extra fire damage, which, I'll pass. 20% extra defense, which is not a bad idea, and 20% extra HP, which is also very good. So really, the way I would do this is compare your HP and defense, see what stat benefits more from the thing you add onto it, and pick that one. Also, here's an example of the other kind of fight that flowers can do. So, I can shoot a seed thing that way, and you have to use your shell defense in order to block it. Anyways, we've reached Silver Boss rank, which means we actually get the extra additional item slot, so now we can decide, do we want higher HP or do we want higher defense? In the meantime, though, we're just going to increase power. We get like 4 here, that'd be nice. 4? A 4? A 4? Maybe? 2? Alright, I'll take it. We already have 104 power and 138 defense or HP, though. Pretty massive stats. So let's go ahead and compare right now what our things are. We also have 130 defense just from, you know, we have 130 defense from the items we have on the Judge Shells. Very high in defense, so you get a lot of defensive Bowser just from wearing that. But HP does give us a tiny bit more, so for now I'm going to put the safety ring on. If defense ends up being higher, which it probably will once we get a new item for Bowser, it's generally a good idea to upgrade. Well, I'll probably just switch to the block band and gives ourselves a massive amount of defense, and Bowser not going to be taking like any damage at that point. So, well, he will be. That's going to be generally pretty reduced. So, I'll probably put the block band on at some point, or the hard ring technically. And once again, why you have both a hard ring and a hard ring and a block band that do the same thing just completely makes the whole Monsieur Broke side quest completely worthless, or at least the early part of it. But whatever, we do have 5 abilities now. I forget when you get a new item from Mr. Broke, but it's gonna be a while anyway, because you need to actually get Chalk Road access to get back there. I'm gonna wait to get a few more abilities before I even go back there and give him the new abilities. So we're gonna keep them in our inventory for now. Anyway, guys, after this is gonna be the end of the episode. This is actually the last part of Bumpsy Plains. I haven't even explained this. You can obviously cross gaps using this, so make sure you do that. But we'll see that more next time. Bye, guys.